Do you ever feel like you want him to die? You've managed to amass a following on Instagram alone, almost 500,000. What are your top tips?
I helped a Muslim coach go from under $2,000 to almost $20,000. So there are three main skills.
He's reached that phase of financial freedom. You're actually doing full-time Islamic studies.
People talk about financial freedom. They never talk about what they're going to do with that freedom. If they get to that place, they're going to be very scared. That's when they actually meet themselves. The 9 to 5 is actually a distraction. I know it because I was there myself. I lived that lifestyle. It was very empty. I didn't even want to see the sunrise.
What does that feel like, Sam?
Have you ever played a game and you're so tired you just want to turn off the console? Imagine feeling that, but for life. Lack of belief, lack of confidence, lack of self-love, lack of self-compassion.
Where did that lack come from?
Wallahi, lack of... I want to mention a very beautiful story.
Yes, please. Okay, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to another episode of Righteous and Rich. Today we have a very special guest joining us on this podcast where we bring on guests that are aspiring to be righteous and rich for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Many people feel like there is a contradiction between being on your deen and also amassing mass amounts of wealth. We're here to show that that is false, and in fact it's very praiseworthy to be on your deen and acquiring wealth, so you could use that wealth for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. And today's guest is brother Simon, aka Simonsayssquat.
Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So Akhi, it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
It's nice to be here.
Just quickly elevator pitch style, give the people a quick introduction to who you are and what you do.
Yeah, all right. So Simonsayssquat. That's my name I was born with in Sweden.
You were born on passport Simonsayssquat?
No, the first one, Simon.
Okay.
But yeah, I probably should put the Simonsayssquat there as well. Would be cool. Yeah, alhamdulillah.
I'm sure you can do that nowadays.
I think, yeah, I've seen crazy stuff.
Just combine says squat into one word.
Put hyphen.
Simonsayssquat.
The thing is now, what's annoying with Swedish passports or people born in my generation, the first name is at the last. So I have two middle names that's first. So people they call me Carl. That's because that's the first name.
Okay.
So it would make sense to actually, it would be better to say Simonsayssquat than Carl. But yeah, Simon, I was born in Sweden, 95. Alhamdulillah, became a Muslim 7 years ago this month. Alhamdulillah. It's been a journey, and I'm very happy. Wish I could have done more, obviously. A lot of shortcomings. May Allah forgive us all for this. And yeah, I work on social media. I have Simonsayssquat as my social media on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I do coaching, mainly for Muslims, but also non-Muslims. They jump on that train. And I focus mostly on fitness and habit coaching. I call it like Muslim lifestyle coaching, right?
MashaAllah.
Because it's a part of our deen, to be fit, to be in shape mentally, physically, and spiritually, right?
You also coach like coaches as well. You coach PTs.
Yes, I just started that as well because I thought, like, obviously,
If you also aspire to be a successful entrepreneur but don't have an idea of where to start, which business route to go down, then we might be able to help you. At the Umrah Set-Up 2.0, we've been helping brothers set up their own successful and profitable Umrah companies. If that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, then click the link below, jump on a call with one of our team to see if this program is the right fit for you. With that said, once more, let's get back into the episode, inshallah.
you know, it's not only mental, physically, and spiritually, but also financially, right? That's a big part of the deen.
Yeah.
And I see, subhanAllah, we're probably going to dive into that, but a lot of Muslims today, they aspire to become rich or wealthy or in the sake of being able to provide for their families, which is good. This is like ibadah, like worship. And I just, you know, we talked a little bit about it before, like they often go a little bit on the wrong way, you know, compromising with the deen. Maybe because there are not a lot of role models or people don't talk about it. Maybe they don't feel, like you said in the beginning, contradiction between deen and business. So yeah, subhanAllah. But alhamdulillah, that's what I do. And also I'm a student in the university here, Islamic University. So I do my bachelor right now.
In Jumeirah.
Yeah, in Jumeirah University. So bachelor in Islamic studies. Inshallah, we'll see where that goes.
I'm gonna let you in on a secret. My favorite type of guests to have on this show are entrepreneurs that are students of knowledge.
Alhamdulillah.
Because the whole thesis of this podcast, honestly, we based it off of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. You know, a man who was known for his piety, to the point where Allah said, وَيَتَجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى. You know, he was the most pious. He had the most piety after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But at the same time, he was extremely wealthy. You know, one time he gave a charity 40,000 dirham, which in terms of purchasing power is equivalent to about £6 million in the UK as a one-time sadaqah. As a one-time charity. This man was extremely wealthy, right? And he gave massive amounts of charity multiple times in his life. Yet he was the most righteous and pious and knowledgeable of the companions after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, like, you know, whenever I hear that righteous and rich term, wallahi, the first coming to my mind after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, right? So having طلاب العلم who are also entrepreneurs is my favorite type of person, sarahatan, to have on this show. So I feel very honored to be sitting opposite you, wallahi.
I hope I can live up to those expectations. They're fresh as high, man. But yeah, I totally agree. The thing is, subhanallah, like if you look at Deen, like Allah loves the person who is mutqin, who want to perfect the action, perfect every action, right? And like you said, Umar ibn Khattab, like that's what he did. Not only in the sense of ibadah, but also in dunya, right? And subhanallah, just think about it. Like, we have so many different means to get closer to Allah, right? And I think just we've disconnected from that somehow as Muslims today. We see Islam as one side of life, and then we have this other side of life, and there's no connection in between. So I think that's why you see a lot of people, they feel, I felt this when I became a Muslim. I was like straight into zuhud, basically. Because I thought, honestly, a Muslim was someone who, you know, just
completely leaves the dunya, lives in a village dunya, somewhere, or a cave.
Yeah, exactly. Like, grow the beard, doesn't care how he looks like, you know, doesn't matter what kind of, if it's dirty clothes or something, you know. And before that, I liked entrepreneurship. Before I was a music producer and did other stuff.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm really sorry to disturb the podcast, but if you love cars just like me, I have a very, very exclusive and special invitation for you. I'm going to be arranging a road trip on the 23rd to the 24th of February. That's right, this coming Friday here in the UAE. We're going to be driving some of these amazing cars. If you're interested in joining us, the prices and all the information can be found in the description of the video. The price will vary depending on the car that you choose. Get in contact ASAP. Spaces are extremely limited. I would love to see you there. With that said, let's get into the podcast, inshallah.
But I was also very active in stock investing.
Okay.
Right? So I was part of the youth organization. I was a board member there in Sweden.
The youth stock organization?
Yeah, so it's the biggest organization in Sweden.
Okay.
It's the youth organization for stock picking.
Oh, wow.
Right, yeah.
And you used to be on the board?
I was on the board for my city, right?
Wow.
And yeah, we did crazy stuff. Like we went on to the States, to the Berkshire Hathaways.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You met Warren Buffett?
Yeah, I met Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger before he passed away.
Passed away, man.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
May Allah guide the ones who are alive.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
Before they die.
So did you always have like an entrepreneurial background? Did you come from like a business-based family, or did you kind of just wander into it?
Yeah, no. The thing is, I came from like a lower middle class family.
Okay.
And there's a lot of stuff that happened that's, alhamdulillah, eventually led me to Islam. Because, you know, a lot of us in Sweden, we grow up very secular, atheistic, like materialistic, hedonism, like this is their life, right? That's a beautiful thing with Islam. Like, it corrects the purpose of being an entrepreneur, being a businessman. You're not there to just have money and just buy stupid
to
stuff.
be on the hedonistic treadmill, as they say.
No, exactly.
But Simon, let me ask you a question. This actually is blown my mind. How old were you when you were on that board of the youth stock?
I was
approximately.
I think I joined. I was 17 or something.
So this blows my mind. So you're telling me you've been in that type of circle since the age of 17. You went to the States. You met Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Who is, I
didn't. It wasn't like I met him.
I know,
like,
but you were in his. You were in Berkshire Hathaway, right?
There was a lot of people there.
So we're talking one of the biggest investment acquisition firms in the world. Usually people who have wealth, they struggle to come to the Deen of Islam because of the fitnah of that lifestyle. So I'm just interested, like, what was it about you that looked past all of the glitz and the glamours and all of the vices and all of these temptations that come with that type of lifestyle and be willing to commit to submitting yourself to the King of Kings?
The thing is, like, obviously, I wasn't like wealthy. It was not like me and Warren Buffett you know, on the Forbes list. No.
Yeah, but no,
But
I get that.
I
But
get
I'm
what you
saying,
mean.
like as a 17-year-old,
Yeah, 100%.
you're on that trajectory, right?
Yeah, 100%. I had money, I had things, right? And I lived that. That's the thing. We talked a little bit about it before. Like, I lived that lifestyle, materialistic lifestyle. Like, not maybe to the fullest because there are levels, obviously. But I noticed very quickly it was very empty. Again, coming back to the purpose. Because in Islam, whatever you put your mind to, whatever it is always the higher purpose of worshipping Allah, right? So we always be fulfilling, right? It's not like whatever you do, even if you just plant a seed, like the beautiful hadith where the Prophet ﷺ, he said, even if the day of judgment will come and you have time to plant a seed or plant to plant a plant, right? Do it.
And this hadith always blows my mind. You know,
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a mentor that I had. I mentioned him quite regularly. May Allah Azza wa Jalla have mercy on him. He passed away now.
I mean,
He's the first person I learned the concept of being an Islamic Muslim entrepreneur. And I remember he mentioned this hadith to me. He said, and he cried when he mentioned it. He said, the Prophet ﷺ said, if you knew the day of judgment was tomorrow, what should you do today?
yes,
Plant a seed.
yes,
Get to work.
100%.
Put it in, bro. Like
Yes.
take the means. Do what's required from you.
Yeah,
You know. So that's the thing. We've lost that that work ethic. You know, it hurts me when people feel that the image of a Muslim is like a rough looking guy with his beard looking disheveled, not combed. It's sad because sometimes I watch some of my old lectures and I'm like, bro, my beard, like I didn't even comb it, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, and I'm representing a sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, right? Not wearing clothes that are appropriate, clean. Not saying you have to wear Gucci or whatever, but nice, clean thobe. Being educated, being well spoken. Sahaba weren't like that, man. You know, we've got my shaykh was, you know, we were reading Al-Fawaid by Ibn al-Qayyim, and Ibn al-Qayyim mentioned the ayah in Surah Al-Mulk where Allah said, فَامْشُوا فِي مَنَاكِبِهَا وَكُلُوا مِن رِزْقِهِ وَإِلَيْهِ النُّشُورِ. Ibn al-Qayyim said this ayah mentions that you got to do two things. You got to walk the earth and seek your rizq, seek your provision that Allah has provided for you. So Allah is actually commanding you, فَامْشُوا, go, walk in this earth, وَكُلُوا, eat from that which Allah has provided, but وَإِلَيْهِ النُّشُورِ. But don't forget the Akhirah, you're going back to Allah. So Shaykh just stopped and he said, Imran, this is one thing that the Muslims have just not been able to reconcile. How to balance acquiring wealth and the Akhirah and the Deen, right? You mentioned earlier like zuhud. Zuhud is to abandon the dunya and face the Akhirah and turn towards that, to live for the next life, right?
like asceticism.
Aestheticism, they say, right? But can a person be a zahid when he's broke? Like, did you choose? Like, zuhud is a choice.
Yeah.
Can you say I've abandoned the dunya when you never had the dunya in the first place?
We couldn't have gotten it.
You can't, right?
Yeah.
So the point is that the believer, he walks on the earth, he provides for himself and his family, he builds for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, but he knows I'm going back to him. And that's what's amazing is that when you look for the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jal, when it comes to the dunya, he tells you walk. Famshu. Just walk. When it comes to Akhirah, Allah said, فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ. When it comes to the Akhirah, Allah says, rush, run, compete. Allah didn't say rush, run, compete for the dunya. Do you understand?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the Akhirah is the key. That's what we're running after.
Exactly, the purpose.
But at the same time, Allah said, go get your food, man. Go get your food, man. I didn't say man, astaghfirullah al-azim, but Allah has told us, go out there and earn. So it's a very beautiful thing that you came to the Deen and you still had this mindset of, you know what, I've got to go out there and amass wealth. So let me ask you a question, Akhi, because everyone is working towards something.
100%.
Right? I see a lot of these kuffar that are entrepreneurs and CEOs. Once they've made like 10 million, you know, or their company's valued at 10 million, if all they were working for was money, that's it. There's nothing more to work towards now, because there's very few things that you can't afford now. Like in terms of money, like bro, you have generational wealth. So I find that now there's like a trend amongst kuffar where they give themselves like some mission that's bigger than, like Jeff Bezos, I was reading recently, he's invested in something called a 10,000 year clock. Have you guys heard of this?
No, 10,000 year clock.
Yeah, 10,000 clock, because
A clock that's going to work for 10,000.
for 10,000 years.
I think I heard
yeah,
that.
and every 100 years there's going to be like a cuckoo that's going to like cuckoo. You know the bird when it comes out. Would you call that?
Cuckoo bird.
Cuckoo bird, yeah. Cuckoo bird's gonna come out every 100 years, right? So and the reason he built this is because like in Amazon, his whole thing is about like long-term thinking and, you know, how do we build a company that's gonna outlive us and blah blah blah. So, you know, I was reading, the author was mentioning that, you know, he's building something that he's probably not gonna see the first time when the cuckoo bird comes out. Most people living probably not gonna see that, right?
Right.
But what's motivating him to do this is like he wants to do something that outlives him, and, you know, like a symbol for people to look at 5,000 years, if Dajjal's already not here by then, 5,000 years from now, to just kind of like be motivated, like, you know, we have long-term, you know, goals. Like, they just give themselves goals.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know if you're going to live. This world may be destroyed in 100 years. Their judgment might come. But I find like they all are living towards these goals. Like, everyone's got this goal. What's your goal?
Well,
and I don't want a general answer like Jannah, because of course I know that.
Yeah.
But I want to know what's the means you're trying to take. Like, why do you want to amass this wealth? Because when I asked you earlier, you said I want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I like the idea of the clock, but it seems a little bit ridiculous, weird, right?
It's interesting, but yeah, my point is that that for him is like his biggest.
You know
like,
what it comes
thing that he
from?
worked towards.
Alex Mostly actually talks about that.
Okay.
Like, we have an instinctive fear of being forgotten, right? But the beautiful part of a Muslim, no matter how insignificant you are, you will never be forgotten, because you will be there in the eyes of Allah, you know, the greatest, because you're a Muslim, you're a mu'min, right? You're gonna enter His paradise, inshallah ta'ala, right? And all of the deeds will never go away. So no matter what you do, even if it's in secret, like, it's gonna be there, right? And I think these, like, when you're non-Muslim, you don't have that. Right? And you're so afraid, like, whatever I do, it doesn't really matter. I remember that feeling when I was an atheist. Like, really? I remember I wanted, it came a point to my life where I didn't even want to see the sunrise next day, because I didn't feel, it was pointless. I was like, another day.
What does that feel like, Sam?
I know, it's hard to describe. Like, imagine you've given up. You don't want to play this game anymore. You just want to turn off the game. You know what I mean? You're so tired of the game. Have you ever played a game and you're so tired you just want to turn off the console? Imagine feeling that, but for life.
Wow.
Right? No purpose. That's why you see the people that have money, they want to build these cuckoo clocks, and because they're trying to still play the game. They want to still make the game running and valuable and purposeful. SubhanAllah.
Forgive me if this is a bit of a forward question, but do you ever feel like you want him to die?
Absolutely. 100%. Came across my mind thousands of times. Alhamdulillah, I never did something like that, but I even, like, if you go to any Swedish person now, we're talking about it, like those things. Yeah. Any Swedish person have someone in their family that ended their life. I have people. Every, basically. You can ask, they have someone that they know that either done it or tried it or is trying to do it.
Despite the wealth that they have in Sweden.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's got one of the highest GDPs in the world.
100%.
But they're killing themselves.
So what was your goal?
So my goal, obviously what happened when I became a Muslim, a lot of things changed. And I think it was a transition there that was very hard to do. To actually, as you said, not rush towards dunya, but rush towards akhirah. So I'm always thinking, like, okay, akhirah is always going to be the goal. How can I make sure that every action I do is according to Allah? And how can I perfect it? If I'm going into business, no, I'm not going to just make $1,000, $10,000. I want to make millions, because that's how you perfect it. Like, that's how you measure. The better you are in business, the more money you're going to make, right? And as a Muslim, if you think about it, who is better to have wealth? The Muslim or the non-Muslim?
The Muslim.
Muslim, right? Because he's going to spend that wealth, inshallah ta'ala, for the sake of Allah. And everything that's spent for the sake of Allah is going to help everyone, even the non-Muslims, right? So that's one of the goals. We talked about the financial goals.
So let's say you had 10 million, right? Apart from the obvious taking care of your family and whatnot, and what would you do with that wealth? What would you like to do with that wealth?
I'm thinking a lot about, like, you know, Alex Hormozi, I really like his idea of leaving a legacy, but according to Islam. So we have that already, sadaqah al-jariyah, right? To leaving a legacy that will live on even when your action stops. When your heart stops beating, your action stops. The soul leaves your body. But whatever you've done, whatever you planted is still growing. Building mosque, teaching people about Islam, you know, having dawah that's continuously growing, right, in some way. And you have your family, children living on and making dua for you, right? That is wealth, to be honest. Like if you think about it, like passive income, that is passive income, but for Akhirah.
You know, it's actually shocking. You mentioned Warren Buffett earlier. When you said that's wealth.
Yeah.
Many people may not be aware, but 99% of the wealth that Warren Buffett accumulated, and I think he's worth like 110 billion.
Yeah.
But 99% of the wealth that he accumulated was after the age of 60.
Yes.
Because investments compound, right?
The compound effect.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you had $2 or £2 and you doubled it every day, the numbers are insignificant until you get to like the 22nd, third day.
Yeah.
Suddenly you have 10 million in the account. Right. That's what happens when you compound. So, you know, the companies that he's invested in that are growing after he's dead are going to compound perhaps in ways that he's never even seen.
Yeah.
So everything he's worked towards, if he doesn't come to Islam, he's basically, he doesn't get to benefit from it in his grave.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, a Muslim who he may not be like that wealthy when he passed away, but if he's whatever wealth he's got and been able to set up some type of projects, he might die on 10, 20 mil, 100 mil, maybe in a billion.
Yeah.
But when that khair compounds in his grave, like those masajid that he built, those da'wah projects that he built,
100%.
People are starting to come, practice in the hundreds, thousands are coming to the Deen, reverting, praying salawat, Ramadan after Ramadan. He's in his grave. That wealth, those ajr, those deeds, that wealth is compounding even though he's dead.
Yeah.
But he actually gets the benefit from it though.
SubhanAllah.
And one of the examples that blows my mind, we were discussing is Ibn Baz rahimahullah.
Yeah.
Like amongst the countless projects that he set up, one of them was Medina University, or he helped build Medina University become what it is today.
You know how
imagine.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
You know how they say that that money is not evil or good in and of itself,
No.
but it's like a magnifying glass for what's in your heart.
Yes.
And obviously you're talking about millions, but forget millions. But I'm saying like one target that a lot of people have is just, they say financial freedom. Like, what does that actually mean? I just want to be able to have free time. I can do like whatever I want. And this, what are you going to do with your free time? A lot of people don't have that answer. It's like, I'm going to buy this car, I want to do this, I want to do this.
100%.
But Simon, mashallah, I don't want to praise you to your face too much, but he's reached that phase of financial freedom. And I remember I asked you earlier, because you mentioned going to the university, and I said, is it full time? Because I thought maybe it's a part-time little thing on the side, whatnot. But you're actually doing full-time Islamic studies with the time that you managed to free up because you achieved financial freedom. So that itself is indicative of, if you were to reach 10 millions or whatever, it would be along that same trajectory, inshallah.
May Allah protect
because
you.
Because with you've achieved something that a lot of people want to achieve.
100%.
People don't want to work 9 to 5 for someone else. People don't want to have to get up and work in the morning.
Multi-millionaire, but
you just covered your...
You've been able to move to a Muslim country, have family, seek knowledge, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And you chose to study the Deen full time as your time was free. And you could have done it. You could have decided to travel the world. You could have decided to do this.
It's really interesting because I've thought about it. Like people talk about like financial freedom, all that, but they never talk about what they're going to do with that freedom. And I think a lot of people, if they get to that place, they're going to be very scared because that's when they actually meet themselves. Right? You know what I mean?
That's so deep.
Like how many of us don't have sides that we don't want to face? Like we're trying to distract ourselves from. The 9 to 5 is actually a distraction. Right? I know it because I was there myself, right? So many pills, anxiety, therapist hours.
Bro, just imagine you get to know yourself and you're like, wait, I want to die. I'm not like making fun of it, light of it. It's just, it's astonishing.
No, but for real, like if you look at these non-Muslims, why are so many of them committing suicide when they have wealth?
Shall I tell you something shocking, Simon? So
even Muslims, a lot of them, they fall off the Deen when they get the wealth is because they didn't have the plan.
Yeah.
When I get this wealth, what am I going to do with it? So they just go with the flow. Okay, he is buying cars and doing this and this.
Yeah.
That must be the thing to do.
Shall I tell you something shocking? Yeah. We recently, alhamdulillah, obviously you were there that day. We had the gathering, right? There's a lot of well-to-do brothers. Some of the brothers, mashallah, are even when I asked them to all introduce themselves in an extremely humble way. But Allah barik, some of the brothers, they're extremely successful, mashallah. So, the last couple of weeks, we've been meeting with a lot of these brothers and just, we just wanted to learn, practicing brothers who are like CEOs of massive companies, right? Allahumma barik, people that have acquisition firms,
mashallah,
investment portfolios of $150 million, but they're practicing people. Every time when I sit with them, I ask them, I'm going to ask you this question later as well, yeah?
Okay.
But I ask them, I say, so why are you still doing this? Like one of the brothers told he's got a company that he invested in with some other people. I think, what was it? Like, it was like 12 mil, and then the return, like then the company grew to being
90
worth
mil.
90 mil, from 12 to 90 mil. Yeah.
Wow.
So I said, so why are you still doing this?
Yeah.
And whenever I asked him all this question, that brother had a very interesting answer. He said, I wanted to give, he wanted to be in a position where he can be influential for the sake of Allah. But generally speaking, the answer that they give, is things like, I just want to be free so I can memorize the Quran. I just want to be free so I can do something for the sake of Allah. And I was talking to Abid about it, and it actually brought me to tears, because I was like, the thing that we're chasing, that they already have, they're looking back at us wishing
Subhanallah.
that they were in this position. Well, when I sat with two of them, when I just said to me, I just want to memorize the Quran. Do you get me? So it's like full circle.
100%.
Yeah, it's like full circle, man. But that's why your point is valid, is that you've got to know what your goal is.
100%. And what you're saying now, again, it's, if someone says, I wish I was in this state to do this, then they would never do this if they're in that state.
Yeah.
Because if you really want something,
Do it now.
you do it now.
Oh.
If you want to seek knowledge, bro, do it now.
Half an hour a day.
Yeah.
No,
if you want to learn Quran, memorize Quran, do it now.
Get in shape, right?
Do it now, right? Because tomorrow is never guaranteed for
Never
you.
guaranteed. Or like.
Never guaranteed. And the paradox that's going to happen is, you get to this business or into any business, you're going to become much more, I'm much more busier now than I was before. Like I can work like 16-hour days. I wake up before Fajr and I work until 11 p.m. Right? But I do it because always in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I provide for my family. I planting the seed, because today might be my last day, right? I'm just gonna plant that seed. Whatever happens, inshallah. And I'm obviously not in that position with 150 mil and all that. But even if I were there, right?
One day, inshallah.
One day, inshallah. May Allah make us, everyone, to have more than 150 mil. I mean, but when you get there, the paradox is, like you said, you're going to wish you had more time. Because whatever you put more time on, going to take more time from you. And that goes for everything. The more time you put into fitness, you're going to take more time out of you. The more time you put into knowledge, you're going to take more time out of you, right? So make sure you put time in what you want to, put in. Because there are many brothers that come to me and say, should I start a business and all that? I say, no, don't.
It would take time.
Yeah, it will take time. It will, if you got this 9 to 5, it's very safe, do that. And focus on building up the habits you need to become a successful Muslim. If you want to start a business after that, be my guest.
Yeah.
But it's going to be much harder to build those habits when you're in a position where something is pulling your time endlessly.
So, because people don't realize the direct link that your Islamic habits will have on your business success.
Exactly, yeah. 100%.
Reading the Quran in the morning, waking up, doing your adhkar, preventing evil eye. Because one of the big things that happens when people start making money, people start watching you, bro. And not everyone watching you wants khair for you, from your own friends, from your own family. And sometimes they want good for you, but they don't realize they're giving you evil eye. And if you're not in the habit of doing your adhkar, bro, you're going to suffer. So you're completely right. At first I was thinking, wait, where's he going with? Stick with the 9 to 5 and don't get. So what you're saying is build the Islamic side of things first, become the best Muslim you possibly can be, then go into it, because then it will be so much easier.
I mean, look, just on a basic level, if you don't build the Islamic side of habits first, the moment an opportunity comes to make money by putting a girl in your video or music or riba, you're going to take it.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, right?
And you've lost the barakah.
And there are brothers that are on their deen when they start business. Unfortunately, they start doing that, right? That's one of the reasons, actually, one of the fundamental motivations behind this podcast was, there was a brother that I know, a very good brother, yeah, lovely brother, Allah barik, and started practicing, used to come to classes, man of khair, mashallah, tabarakallah. He started a business. And I know this brother was actually famous before he started practicing. And I won't mention the thing that he was involved in. He was famous, and he literally left that thing he was doing just before the people who were doing it with just blew.
Wow.
So he left that, and then he suffered for the sake of Allah. And I remember seeing him struggle to make ends meet. He started a business, Allah barik, and it started to pick up. And there was no haram. There was a lot of barakah. Allah barik, he was doing so well. It seemed like there was a lot of barakah. But then next thing you know, slowly, music, women, slowly it's getting worse and worse. I remember in that time, I'd actually sit with him to, what's going on? He's like, I don't really, like, if you want to make money, bro, it's hard to do it the halal way, Like he's very honest. Like he's just being honest with me, what he's feeling, right? And I was like, nah, you got to trust in Allah. But in his mind, it was like, bro, you're not in the position that I'm in. Trust me, when you get to the stage, you can't do it without bending the rules a little bit. And I didn't believe that.
I don't believe that.
Of course.
His biggest lie, bro.
But truth be told, at the time, he was doing better at business than me. So he was just looking at me like, bro, trust me. You don't know. So then when Allah Azza wa Jal gave me tawfiq, and I saw wealth, the likes of which I'd never seen before. And then forget what I saw. I met with these brothers that I'm just mentioning to you.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, bro? One of the reasons why I feel like the Muslims don't have this thiqah, this trust and this confidence and this certainty in doing it correctly, one of the reasons maybe is because they don't see the role models in front of them.
Exactly, 100%.
And it doesn't help when brothers who, mashallah, tabarakallah, like yourself, who are working towards success, don't want to come and sit here. Like, some brothers,
they're shy.
They could be shy, could be fear of evil eye, could be whatever. But, if anyone's watching, if there are, we'd love to share your story, if you actually have a story. None of that charlatan stuff, I'm like a 21-year-old guy who's done nothing in life. I'm telling you how
business,
to.
crypto and
Yeah, if you've actually done something, because we need to showcase this, man.
And I think even like people has a responsibility to show.
Yeah.
Responsibility, because actually think of it as sadaqah jariyah. If you're the means to someone's halal income to provide more for their family and not become like this brother you said who went into haram stuff because of lack of role models. And if you're that role model, you have a responsibility.
Yeah.
Show how it is. Show the people how to be a Muslim, but a businessman that acts according to Islam. 100%.
It's
so important, bro.
If you don't see it, it's very hard. It's not that seeing is believing, but it's very hard for people.
Yeah.
It's very hard for people to believe it. You had a question, Abu Bakr.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, so how did you get into the fitness industry? And at what point were you thinking, you know what? I can monetize this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brothers that are into fitness. I know personally a lot of brothers. But there's just that monetization part. It's like, how do I do that? So what was your journey?
One thing I want to mention before that is why I said the one with the 9-to-5 job and everything. Why? Because if you're going to go into business, what you're going to provide, right? What's the value you're going to come with? So if you focus on building up yourself first, you're going to find out wherever you can, what value you will have as a person. And subhanAllah, when I started, like I worked out like...
As a hobby?
Yeah, as a hobby before I became a Muslim, right? And I really liked that, enjoyed that. I loved to see that there was actually a model of the more I did, the better I became.
Oh, wow.
Right?
I
was
progress.
Progress. I loved gaming before, right? World of Warcraft, all these stuff, level up my character. I love that progress, gamification.
Yeah.
And
you'd love Anis, my cousin.
Huh? What?
You love my cousin Anis.
Who's that?
He's a brother. I think he was there.
He was there.
Okay.
Yeah, he's also very much into it. He got me into it at one point. I used to go to his house and play and whatnot.
He's one who was the blockchain CTO.
Yeah. Anis, Anis.
Yeah.
That's my...
Oh, he's your client.
I didn't hear the name first, bro. I was like...
Oh, that's your client?
He's
my client, bro. Anis,
But by the way, if anyone needs a testimonial, you know what Anis said to me? He said, I lost 10K, man, because his brother was Muslim.
Yeah, I was still working 10K? On it, mashallah.
10 kg.
Oh, kg.
Sorry.
He lost 10,000 pounds.
10 kg. So look at that.
If gained 10K, I did lost 10 kg.
Lost 10 kg.
Allah.
No, alhamdulillah. I didn't think, I thought you were talking about someone else. No, so back to that, what you said. We talked about it, like, when you get into anything, right? It's all about value, right? What kind of value can you provide, right? And the problem is when you cannot monetize something, you don't know where your value is. That's the problem. Because if you actually know what kind of value you can provide, you know what you can charge, right? So it goes back to, I always talk about that when I talk about, so when I teach fitness clients, lifestyle clients, I have something called the stronger Muslim system, right? Right? I think about the principles Islam have for someone to become stronger in their fitness or whatever, right? The Prophet mentioned, worship Allah as if you see him. If you don't see him, you know he sees you. If you spend every second like this, you're the most accountable person in the world, right? And this is the framework I use, like stronger Muslim. Okay, use this.
Wow.
But for the richer Muslim, that's the other system, richer Muslim system. I talk about, okay, you need to work with this richer Muslim mindset. You need to have, first, start off with being a state of istighfar. The istighfar is whatever stops the risk coming from you, whatever will open up that door is istighfar. Right? I want to mention a very beautiful story. I don't know if you heard it. The baker. Have you heard it?
The baker.
Tell us, please.
Okay. So listen, 1,000 years ago, this is a real story, right? I'm not making it up. More than 1,000 years ago, was a man.
You got the chain of narration, yeah?
We have everything, no problem. It's authentic.
MashaAllah.
Listen, there was a man, he was traveling. It was starting to become night, getting late. He came to a city and he prayed either Maghrib or Isha, right? Because it was evening, night, something like that. And because of the night came, he couldn't continue his travel. He wanted to seek knowledge. Back in those days, the safety wasn't all that. It could be animals, could be other people attacking, right? So he had to stay, but he didn't know anyone in that city. So what he did, he decided to sleep in front of the mosque. Then suddenly the caretaker of the mosque came, poked him like, you cannot sleep here. You cannot be here. And he said, I'm a traveler. I need to stay somewhere. And it was some kind of argument started building up. So the traveler, he gave up. He said, okay, I'll go and sleep in the streets. There was a baker next to the mosque. He had the bakery. He saw this happening. So he went to the older man, said, I saw what happened. Please come to my bakery. I have a bed. You can sleep there while I prepare for the morning, right? Baking the bread. The man agreed. He went into his house, slept on the bed. The man had only one bed, right? So, he was lying there and he was looking at the baker while he preparing the bed and everything, kneading the dough and putting it in the oven and everything. Every time he put it in the oven, he said, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah, like this, all night until the dawn came, right? Or the Fajr, right? And when the man woke up in the morning, he told the baker, I saw that you did the dhikr, istighfar, so many. And this was a man, he loved knowledge. He loved Islam so much. We asked the baker, why did you do that? Like, what made you do this? What inspired you to do this? And the baker said, Wallahi, there's not a single dua I've made except it came true because of this. But except one. And the man was like, which one? I've made dua for so long to meet Imam Ahmed, rahimahullah. And I haven't met him yet. And the man started to cry. The baker said, Wallahi, Allah answered your dua tonight. I am Imam Ahmed. And I came to your bakery because your dua was answered. And this is a true story, bro. SubhanAllah. So istighfar, if you have something that's stopping you from having your dua answered, istighfar.
Actually, a hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, a person will be prevented from rizq because of a sin that he committed. And Imam Ibn al-Qayyim actually, he mentions in a Dawa, he gives like a checklist of things you should do for your dua to be accepted. And one of the first things he mentions is that you praise Allah. Is before the dua, give sadaqah, because sadaqah, it burns away the sins. It removes the sins the way that fire extinguishers would. Give charity. And then the second thing he mentioned, that after you praise Allah and send salutations upon the Prophet ﷺ, ask Allah to forgive you, because you praise Allah, you've made dua for the Prophet ﷺ, and then you've asked Allah to forgive you for your sin. Now you're in a state of like purity and cleanliness, so you can ask Allah to give you what you want. Yeah, the reason I'm getting emotional is because, subhanAllah, that's what I'm saying. Like we have the formula for success. Like, you know, the Sahaba were from the Arabian Peninsula, which was a place. You know, when you think about it, you have the Romans on one side, and you have the Persians. You have the two greatest superpowers in the world at the time, and they're conquering left, right, center. Some of the narrations mention, historical traditions mention, the Persian army in that day and age was in the millions.
In that what?
In that day and age was in the millions.
Oh.
At their time, they had an army of 1 million plus soldiers, right? It was massive. Then you have the Romans. Why did they not conquer Arabia? Because that place was worthless for them. Like they were from a place that was considered, we're not even gonna conquer these guys. Like
Just desert.
Just desert. Like these were people who believed, like these are people that will go to war for years over a camel.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
SubhanAllah.
I'm saying from these barefooted Arab Bedouins, they came out and they conquered from the footsteps of China in the east to the shores of Spain in the west. To the point where the Prophet ﷺ said that the crown jewels of Qisra, which is the Persian emperor, will be in the streets of Medina. And you, he said to the Sahaba, he said, you will have them.
SubhanAllah.
So if we're talking about success, bro, in terms of Deen and Dunya, if we're talking about what we're after, these men had it.
They had
so
everything.
what was the formula? You know, one of the surahs that, you know, I actually done a whole lecture based on this. I done tadabbur. I read this surah through the lenses of, like, what's Allah Azza wa Jalla trying to teach me about manhood and high aspirations, motivation, inspiration, how to like work, you know, like all this personal development stuff. Wallahi, I was mind blown. Like this, when you read this surah through the lenses of personal development, this lenses of just being better, and that's right, mind blowing. When you look at the seerah of the Prophet, mind blowing. But wallah, there's so much we can discuss on this, man. And I really do urge the people who are watching to check out your richer Muslim mindset and your stronger Muslim mindset and your other services. I have a question for you, Akhi, and I really want you to be truthful. And not that I'm insinuating you would be dishonest, but just I want you to answer it from within.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right.
People, when they are working towards greatness, are of two types. There are some that are driven towards something in the future. They're trying to work towards something. And then there are some that are dragged because of something in the past, like some trauma, some experience that they had, they suffered, and that thing is dragging them towards success. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Which one are you? Are you driven or are you dragged?
That's really interesting. Because I talk about this as well.
Really?
Like someone escaping from pain and someone running towards potential. There are always two type of people.
Okay.
And I think no matter what you are, just accept and go all in.
So which one are you? I
would say I'm more inclined to escaping from pain.
What pain?
Good question. I think the pain of lack. I think.
What do you mean by that?
You know, and I'm actually like, I'm not prepared for this question, so I need to make this reflection on the spot. But I think coming from a background of, you know, lack of belief, right? Lack of confidence, lack of self-love, lack of self-compassion, lack of a lot of things. That was default. Lack was a default. Scarcity was a default, right? So I think that's still in me. And I think that was hard and still hard. You know, my wife always tried to talk with me about have sabr, be thankful, all these qualities. I'm actually talking about in the rich Muslim system, like istighfar, tawakkul, sabr, shukr, because I'm working towards these things and I'm seeing how they're changing in my life. Because it's not bad to escape from stuff and escape from pain. I think the Sahaba did the same. Like they were escaping from shirk, their old self, like non-Muslim lifestyles, right? And they found Islam, the light of Islam, and they hold so tight on it and made it the life mission, and they died for that mission because this was the truth. It went from darkness to light. And I can kind of reckon, like, I'm nothing compared to them. I can see myself in that journey of, I've seen the darkness and I would never for a second return. I don't want to return. I don't want anyone to see that darkness.
So where did that lack come from? The lack of self-love, the lack of the self-belief. Where did that come from?
Wallahi, lack of iman. Wallahi.
SubhanAllah.
Because as soon as you have iman and you understand what it means to be a mu'min, like how can you hate yourself? How can you hate yourself when Allah loves you? When Allah loves the believers?
SubhanAllah.
How? Impossible. How can you look down on your action? How can you feel bad about yourself when Allah raises you up in levels? You will be from the people who will see Allah on Yawm al-Qiyamah, where people who disbelieved in Him will not see Him. That in of itself is a punishment for them, but a reward for you, right? So that's why I always emphasize, like, again, you as a Muslim man or a woman, you have already value because you have iman, right? And that iman needs to be whatever directs you to what you want to do, as long as it brings you closer to Allah, right? That's, whatever. If we go back to the question you said about these fitness influencers, whatever you want to do with your business, start there. You need to work on yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to be a prey for shaitan. Once you attain that wealth or success or fame or whatever, you get fitnah, the brother's going to get DMs from ladies and sisters, and what's going to happen? Bad stuff's going to happen because you have not protected yourself, right? You have no idea if you're going to do what kind of adhkar you do in the morning. You have no idea if you're not even praying all 5 prayers on time. And you expect you're going to be from the successful people. If Allah gives you dunya in that state,
Your punishment.
be scared, bro.
Yeah.
Be really scared. Because Allah gave you sold you from the people, أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى والعذاب بالمغفرة.
الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى
Yeah.
والعذاب بالمغفرة. نعم.
They sold the dunya.
The guidance for the misguidance.
Don't be that.
And they sold forgiveness for punishment.
100%. Because if you that person, you will attain success, inshallah ta'ala.
So if you're running away from this pain, right, what are you running towards specifically? What are you running towards? Relief.
100% relief.
What does relief look like to you?
Relief is when I am in a state of humbleness and purity, close to Allah. That is relief.
Salah,
wallahi.
tahara,
Tahara, tahajjud.
Humility when you're in sujood.
You went Umrah recently as well, you said, right?
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Is that
It was
first time?
amazing. The first time, man. First time. Had this hair for a very long time, but alhamdulillah, it had to go off, bro.
You know, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He says, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ.
Wallahi.
In the remembrance of Allah, the hearts, they find peace. Wallahi.
And what you're going to see, inshallah, your this isn't.
Inshallah.
Every time we've come back from Umrah, bro, it's like, it's literally just like there's a connection directly.
Look, I'm going to say this, I'm going to be very honest. There are many times in my life, Allah tests me with this. I get the risk, I get a lot of money, and then maybe I'd have faces a period I don't have a lot of money. I'm struggling. Again, if you don't have this Muslim mindset in those times will be a test for you or a punishment for you. It pulls you away from Allah, right? But if you have the mindset, it will be a reason why you can come closer to Allah.
Subhanallah.
Wallahi.
Wallahi, barakallah fi Simon, man. I spend a lot of time on this side, the spiritual side and the mindset on this podcast, because I feel like, as you mentioned, mindset, mindset is 80%. There's some Tony Robbins, I don't really like to quote kuffar, but sometimes they have some good stuff.
Yeah.
He mentioned that 80% of the success of anything that you do is down to your mindset.
100%.
And 20% is the mechanics, i.e. the actual physical things. So I appreciate you sharing that. So now one of the things I wanted to get into, I know Abu Bakr is itching to get into this, is the specifics of some of your areas of expertise, right?
Right.
So Allah Barik, you've managed to amass a following on social media that's, on Instagram alone, I've seen almost 500,000.
Yeah, on TikTok, 500,000 as well.
500,000 TikTok.
YouTube, I'm working on it.
YouTube, Allah Barik. No, mashallah. But you just started recently, right?
Yeah.
And obviously having social media presence is a very powerful form of marketing and influence, right?
Yep.
You can do da'wah in your way in between, you know, your entrepreneurial endeavors as well, and you're also combining that with seeking knowledge, which is amazing. Allah barik. But let's just say that there's a brother who's got a craft. It doesn't have to be health and fitness, even though there are many PTs that are probably watching, thinking, how can I learn a thing or two from you?
Yeah.
Like, what are your what are your top tips? Top 3 tips, yeah. And I'm putting you on the spot. Top 3 tips of how to grow a social media. I don't like to use the word following, even though it is, but I just you know that having a follower, like, it's not really like we don't want followers, we're followers of the Prophet ﷺ, but to have this social media brand presence, influence, and to have this audience, Jazakallah khair, barakallah feek. Like, what are your top 3 tips on how to grow it for a business perspective?
Like, they've already done the habits, they've got the Deen side on point. Now they're coming to the table. Okay, cool. I want to monetize my craft, whatever it might be.
What advice would you give me? So I've got like 157,000 or something on my channel. You are on better almost $500,000, right? So talk to me. What can I do?
So the first question is like, again, purpose. What are you gonna do? Right? Like, again, you need to analyze yourself. Are you gonna be more popular, or you wanna get more customers? Many people, they mix between these two things. That's why I talked about before the broke influencer syndrome. There's so many people with a lot of following have no idea how to monetize it. And goes back to, that's why the first thing I said, work on yourself. Have something to offer.
You're right. I actually came across some guys who have only 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, but they make millions in sales every month.
I know people like this as well.
Millions in sales every month. Because the value that they provide and they're targeting just their particular ideal
100%.
customer.
There's so many things I can say about this. I want to say one thing first. Master a skill. If you're an influencer, like you, if I'm talking with you, I think I already know what kind of skill you're at, but master. So there are 3 main skills in business: creating a product, advertising it, and selling it. These 3.
I would add 1/4, which is fulfilling what you promised to the customer.
Yeah, I mean,
customer fulfillment.
100% fulfillment, and that's actually the rich Muslim system is 5 steps.
MashaAllah.
First, the mindset, and then the offer. Create the offer, product, and then the lead generation.
MashaAllah.
Create a system for lead generation, then the sales, and then the fulfillment.
Amazing.
And then it goes around like this, right?
Literally.
Right. But I would say for you, find any of these 3. Either if you become really good creating a product, really good at advertising, really good at selling, right? Because whatever you do, you can monetize this in a very good way. If your goal is to monetize your account, what are you going to monetize? What are you going to monetize a skill like what I mentioned, or are you going to monetize a physical product or whatever? I'm more like, I can only speak what I've done myself. I've never done e-commerce, dropshipping, stuff like that. Physical product. I that's why I go into coaching, because
skills based
and learning like.
And I also recommend that because you don't need capital. You don't need capital.
It's the most profitable. Like, you have basically no overhead.
Costs,
basically, and except if you're going to use an app subscription, Canvas is like no overhead, like 100% profit basically. So one issue I see with a lot of people, not even in fitness, but they don't even know what kind of offer they have. And why they don't know what kind of offer they have is because they don't know who is the ICP, the ideal customer persona or profile or client profile, ICP, right? So you need to know, who are you targeting, right? As an example, I have a full video, like a 1-hour video. I break down the whole system. I helped a Muslim coach go from under $2,000 a month to almost $20,000 a month in 4 months.
Wow, Allah mabarik.
So what we did was this 5 steps: work on the mindset, right? This istighfar of these things. Work on the offer. The offer was really bad, and then the lead, then the sales, then the fulfillment.
So just to clarify, when you say offer, I'm assuming you mean, for example, like.
Outcome.
Like, what are you promising?
The promise, exactly.
The bonuses and adding like scarcity and all that kind of stuff. Like packaging the offer in a nice, appealing way.
Yeah,
packing it with value.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the thing many people miss. Fitness coaches, they come. One of the big mistakes they think people need is a diet plan. They say, I want to lose weight. The person going to come to them, I want to lose weight. I need a workout plan. And the PT is going to say, no, you need a diet plan. So here's a diet plan. But both are wrong. Both of them are wrong. The person actually need accountability. Because the problem with the person is they're not consistent with whatever they're doing. Because if they're doing something consistently, even if the plan is not great, it's going to give them results. 100%. And if you do something consistently and you don't see results, you're going to change it sooner or later because you don't want to do something that's worthless. So you see what I mean?
So I love that. So what you're saying is most people who are doing business, they don't even know what pain they're actually trying to solve for the customer.
They have no idea even who they're targeting.
You know, there's a book called The Lean Startup, right? It's a really good book. It's not an easy read for most people who like don't really have like a good business acumen. It may not be like the first thing you want to read, but it's a very good book if a person can read it. And the thesis of the book is you don't know if the customer actually wants what you have to offer.
100%.
So be very, very receptive and sensitive towards the feedback, and then make tweaks and make changes. There's a brother that I know, he had this like idea for this like a really out there clothing brand, right? And it was like funky. It was funky. And he just like, bro, I never seen someone so committed. Alam Barik, like 10 years straight, bro.
Wow.
He's been trying to build this.
Wow.
And it's the same funky stuff, and no one wants to buy it.
10 years, man.
But he's been persevering so hard. But what the book says that you get to a point where you need to ask yourself, should I persevere? Should I pivot?
Yeah.
Should I carry on going hard, or should I just adjust based on what the market actually wants? Right? And 10 years he didn't pick up. You know, I believe just for Wallahu I don't know about him, but just one skill that you're lacking is the ability to just hear what your customer's saying.
Yeah.
Just hear what they say.
Exactly, 100%. And that's how I started. I started doing meal plans and workout plans because I thought that was people wanted or needed. And then I realized when I was coaching them, they don't even have the habits, the lifestyle. They're asking these weird questions like, how do I go to the gym consistently? I'm like, what do they mean? Like I've been going to the gym like the past 10 years. I didn't understand. So I had to understand. And that was a big disconnection for me and the client. How am I supposed to help someone that I cannot even put myself in those shoes? So that's why I always say, if you're going to coach, like you need to have a skill. But the best person, if you don't know your ICP, the ideal customer, look at yourself 5 years ago. Who was that person?
Wow.
100% you can coach that person. So find that person.
Subhanallah.
You know what I mean? So if it's like a young guy who's lost, he doesn't know his direction, he want to earn some money, whatever, you find that guy. Why I say this is because people go the other way. They start doing content.
And you create content for that guy.
Exactly. Now you know who you're going to make content for. So now we go from the offer, right? You know the offer. I talk about the tag headline. For example, what I usually use is, okay, you have the ICP. Let's take a fitness off. It's very easier to quantify.
Yeah.
So you have a busy dad who's overweight. He's been married for 10 years. He got some kids. He's working his 9 to 5, overweight, busy. Okay. What is the number one pain point? He doesn't have time. He doesn't have time to go to the gym. He feels he has a belly. He doesn't have confidence, right? So now you're building up the pain points. Okay, what's the solution? Get rid of the belly fat, get a six-pack without spending too much time in the gym, right? Away from your family. And what was it? The other? Yeah, that was the 2 pain points, right? The belly and the time.
Yeah.
And do that within a time frame that you can quantify and give a guarantee. If you don't do it, I give you your money back. What you do now,
and you can place conditions on the guarantee. For example, you have to actually listen to what I say.
100%. Because if you there's so many details, but if you have a guarantee, you need to have stipulations.
Yeah.
Right. They need to follow. You have the guarantee only for them to remove the risk.
Yeah.
It's a risk mitigation.
Yeah.
Because they feel like, I'm gonna invest in this. I don't know if the only thing people don't buy from you. This is something I hear a lot. They say like, they always say they don't have money. It's not the problem. They have money. If I told you, I have a Lambo outside, you can get it for 10,000 pounds. Let's say your bank account is at 0. What are you going to do?
You'll find
I
them.
phone every single person.
You phone every single
on my
person.
contact
You do
list.
everything
I'll
you
call my
can.
primary school teacher. I'll
Yeah.
call everyone, bro.
You're gonna reach
That's
out
it,
to people
fam.
that owe you
I can
money.
sell that for 300,000.
Exactly.
I've given the money.
Right? So the problem is not money. What is it? The value.
Yeah.
So people don't buy from you, not because they don't have money.
They don't believe you have the value.
They don't believe in the promise you're giving them.
Mm.
They don't trust you at all. Again, that goes to the offer. You don't. There's so many things there that can disconnect you
So
from that.
you know, there's a really important thing here to mention. You know, one of the reasons why I feel like some people don't believe people actually have the value that they claim is because they don't have proof of concept. They don't have testimonials, right?
100%.
You got some good testimonials I've seen on your page, Allah barik.
Yeah.
So I believe you. I believe you, Allah barik. But truth be told is like, you know, when you're young, you see like all of these entrepreneurs and coaches and motivational speakers and guys who've done this, that and the other. That guy's done 10 years putting in hard work. Like, you know, when you look at Imam Bukhari, like he has his great Sahih, he used to memorize, he had over 1 million hadith memorized. You don't understand the journey, bro.
Yeah.
Like we hear about the end, but the journey,
100%.
the hard work, the blood, sweat and tears. So what they do is they start their journey with the end, skipping the middle part,
That's what
which
I'm
is,
saying.
hey guys, I'm this coach, I can help you change your life. And you know what? Maybe he is a person who's got something really good to offer. But what I would suggest our brothers to do is to remove that chip from their shoulder and be a little bit patient and even be willing to work for free.
100%.
Provide your service for people who are willing to actually take it on for free, because the best offer is the one that's free. And use your results that you provide for them as testimonials. And I promise you, I'm telling you right now, I'm a person with the permission and the tawfiq of Allah Azza wa Jal who has throughout the years brought in millions and millions in terms of revenue throughout the various different companies, right? I'm not saying I'm a millionaire, but over time, right? And I can tell you from all the marketing techniques and tips and tricks I can give you, among the most important is just putting a testimony of a person in front saying, bro, he's not lying. He helped me change my life with the push of Allah. Like, if you could just get that and go like blood, sweat and tears to get that, then you're going to find it's going to be a very easy journey.
100%. I mean, you need to prove that you can do the work. 100%. And if you can't do that, go back to the drawing board, work on yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the testimonials at all, be your own testimonial. Like, say, I did this, I can do it for you.
You're right, absolutely.
Right? And again, like when you said do something for free, you can do that, but the problem is, are they going to be accountable? So what you could do, and a tip is, say to people, I'm going to do this for you. You give me $100, whatever, and I'm going to give all the money to charity. Yeah. Just so they feel that they are putting money.
Yeah.
Or this,
so there's some type of commitment,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or do you say, you have the money, if it doesn't work, I give you the money back, right? We're going to put it in our mutual friends account. I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah.
If it works, you know, whatever. If it doesn't, you get it back.
And I'd also mention that be prepared for it to not work the first time. You know why? Because if you're new to this, it might take you a while to get better. And don't let it discourage you. 100%. Just do it again and again.
You're learning, you're not earning, like Alex Morsi says.
Yeah.
Focus on the learning and then you can do the earning.
Yeah, 100%.
People doing the earning without the learning. I have no idea.
And just to give an example, like we did this with the Umrah Set-Up, right? Amongst the other stuff like that we've done, we first did it ourselves, alhamdulillah. We set up our Umrah company. Then we helped some brothers set up Umrah companies for free. We didn't even have the mindset of we're gonna use this as a testimonial one day. We genuinely just helped them for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Then they were successful. Then we were like, okay, cool. So we did it ourselves. We did it for these guys behind the camera. There was no glory, right? But we got the story. So then we mentioned it, and then we trained a few people, and then more people set up Umrah companies. And now we've got 36 plus Umrah companies that we've managed to set up with permission of Allah Azza wa Jal. We train these brothers, and I just keep adding it, like every couple of weeks. It's 38 now, it's 39, it's 42, 43, 50, do you get me? Because then it just compounds. And then what you also can do is that you've noticed that people buy faster and they pay more.
100%. Yeah, like, you increase the prices and you know exactly your ICP. You just talk with them.
Should I tell you something? Just today, our head of sales, he sent a message. Our course currently is £4,500, right? That's a lot of money, right? So this, say Allah, I'm petty people. So what happened is that this brother who's a sales guy, and you know he took the money from him, right? To pay. Now, the brother who he took the money from sent him a message. And the brother sent it into our Slack channel today saying, Assalamu alaikum, brother. And he mentions the name of the brother who's a sales guy. He said, Alhamdulillah, we've had our first 2 classes of the Umrah Set-Up course. Starting the course, everything seems so important to not delve deeper. And so as a result of days, the grammar was a bit wrong. The point I want is, he goes, we wanted to thank you for your help. May Allah reward you.
As in he helped him take money out of his account. And
Like, as in-
because he saw the value.
He saw that when you know you're providing value,
Yeah.
when the guy who gives you money says thank you.
Exactly.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
when you go to get a coffee,
Yeah.
I've paid, right? And I said thank you. Because I know the value that
I like
I'm getting,
that.
right?
I like that.
So this is a £4,500 transaction. He's paid.
Yeah.
I said thank you for taking it.
Because that brother, it's not as if that sales brother was one who delivered.
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
did
fulfill
it.
the product. We fulfilled it. You should be saying thank you to us, not that.
Yeah.
But the fact that he even went to him to say thank you,
Yeah.
that's something profound.
And by the way, guys, this is very intentional. Like our sales guys, we train them. Well, not we train them, but we remind them they already are like this. Mashallah, not that we train them. I don't want to come across like in the sense where we keep reminding the concept of these are our brothers that we actually want to help. So they actually have that mindset of
Right.
like to the point where our sales guys, now there's guys that saying I'll give you money, saying sorry, it's not for you. You're not good. Like, trust me, you won't benefit from this.
Yeah.
Like,
You're not the ICP.
Exactly.
They
Yeah,
literally,
same here.
they literally turn away. Yeah, we literally the guy saying, "Here's $4,500." No, we don't want it.
Yep.
Before they even get on the call, just from the application.
Yeah.
We just cancel it. We
Yeah.
just cancel it. So there is a reason to thank. Do you get me?
100%.
But
I had-
sorry, go on.
One final question, because you said 5 minutes. Do you have a question?
No,
You wanna ask?
no.
Yeah? You mentioned that the goal that you're going towards is legacy. You mentioned, right? So you want to leave something behind, and you said something like Timecodes Jari and whatnot. So I want to ask you something. I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot.
Okay.
Right? Let's say that you knew when you step out of this door, khalas, it's game over for you. As in, it's the end. And you could say one last thing, and this, whatever you say in these next 5 minutes or whatever else it might be, will be your legacy. This is the last communication anyone will ever get from Simonsayssquat, including family, including friends, including the general, the ummah as a whole. This will be your legacy. What would you say?
Powerful. Honestly, I would leave everything out when it comes to this dunya. Because this is going to disappear, right? No matter how many cuckoo clocks we build, it's going to disappear. Everything we build with our bodies, our bicep goes, it will rotten. All the wealth we build up will go away. Someone else will have it. All the family, we will have generations that don't even know we exist. So even on the day of judgment, a mother will turn away her own child to save herself. So the only thing I would say is focus on saving yourself in this dunya. Save yourself first. As Allah says, start with yourself first. Save yourself from the fire. How do you do that? If you're in darkness right now, go to the light. And if you're in light right now, stay away from the darkness. In any way you can. It starts with minor sins, turns into major sins, that will turn into kufr and shirk. That's how shaitan is going to work with you. Do not look down on any sin. The Sahaba and a sin that we today see as a little fly that goes by our face, they saw as mountains. And that's why they were promised Jannah, because they had the mindset of that. So stay away from the darkness, stay in the light, and save yourself first. That's all I can say. Inshallah. If that would be the last thing.
Barakallah fi akhi. Simon, I really appreciate you coming here and sharing your. I could tell you made yourself vulnerable and you really opened up for us and for the viewers. I really appreciate that. Actually, we met a couple of weeks ago, but I think I did mention to you, I heard about you months before, Allahumma barik, and I just really was eager to meet you. Brothers mentioned so much khair about you, and I can say that everything that they said and more, alhamdulillah, mashallah, may Allah protect you and your loved ones, your family, your children, and give you a utmost success in this life and the next.
I hope things I said was beneficial.
No,
There were many more things I would like to say, but
don't worry, inshallah, we're going to bring you on a couple more episodes, inshallah. Chat with Bhai. We've got a couple of things to talk about. Barakallah fi.
The new recommendation tradition.
Yes, you got to recommend someone to be sitting on this next seat publicly. You got to call them out.
Wow, okay.
Someone that you feel would be
beneficial,
nice fit for this discussion.
For the rich and righteous.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be like big on social media, but someone who's doing something.
One thing, Fatih Safarajic. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he, we met actually when he moved to Dubai, and he has a very nice heart, mashallah, a very beautiful heart.
My guy.
If you haven't had him, I don't know if you had him.
No, but he's watching now.
Yeah, he's watching now.
He's watching now.
Watch out, man.
Come on, my brother. I have to sit right. None of this now. I actually called him for a podcast many, like a couple of years ago. He was a bit busy.
I don't know if you do podcasts, but yeah, that wouldn't be nice to have him.
No. He's been called out. It's a tradition now.
Yeah,
once you're called out, brother, come on.
Now it's your job to make sure he ends up in the seat. The responsibility goes on to you now.
Yeah. We make an invitation. He cannot. He's not allowed to refuse. We have a dinner and everything.
No. You have to put the offer together. This is what you're gonna get.
Offer, then the
dream outcome, guarantees, bonus.
Thank you,
guys.
With that said, people, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Barakallah feet, man. How did you find that?
It was nice.